Hello Libra, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a January monthly pick a card reading. You can ask 3 questions or you can ask 1 question. You can come back later on in the month to ask another question. For the month of January, you can use this reading throughout. There's no time limit on when you pick your answer in the month of January, is what I'm trying to say. This is the second time I tried to do my intro part of this reading and I still fumbled up on my words. So it could be that Libra, in the month of January, there's a lot of fumbling when it comes to the way you're communicating. Maybe you can't catch your breath when you're communicating. Maybe when you are communicating, you just don't feel like you're making sense. That seems to be maybe like an overall kind of energy that I feel. Like frustration, communication. So I'm going to give you a moment to pick a card. And then we'll get started. Oh, hiccups. Oh, interesting. I just got a song by Pink. She sings, every time I try and tell it how it is, it's like a hiccup comes in and I can't say it, or something like that. So it's almost like maybe every time you do try and communicate, you feel like it's a hiccup, like you're not, you know, like, oh, it's a hiccup, like a, not clear, like a bit of a mistake maybe, but I don't think it's a mistake. I just think that maybe you're not really communicating authentically, which is why it's such an issue for you to communicate and get your point across. It could also be that sometimes when it comes to like our emotions and stuff, if we're in a really emotional state, it's really hard to find the words to express emotion because emotion is such a big scale. So it could be that when you're talking, you're coming from an emotional place and it's making it a lot harder for you to communicate how you feel. So card number 1, let's see what's happening for you in the month of January. So I feel like in the month of January, this could be like, you starting your own business, or maybe you have the mindset that you want to create your own business. And with the Knight of Swords here and the Wheel of Fortune, I'd say that's a pretty good fucking idea, because we've got the King of Swords here. He stands 100% in his truth. This is all about truth. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune here, which tells us about the changes that are going to be happening. It tells us about, you know, the Wheel of Fortune. Whether that Wheel of Fortune is going up and down or round and round, whatever it is, the point is, it's the Wheel of Fortune. So it's like the transformation is happening. So if you are thinking about starting your own business in the month of January, it would be a great time for you guys to do that. You'll be quite successful with the 9 of Pentacles here. And if you do already own your own business, the month of January is going to be a very great month financially. I also feel that it's time for you to really step into your power. Like before, I feel like Libra, you was kind of in your power, but you was quite, you know, kind of just like the scales were a little bit like up and down, up and down. But I think that in the month of January, like the King of Swords is saying, no, like this is your truth. This is what you're going to be doing. Like this is you right here. This is, you need to stay in that power because this is all you. So it could be that in the month of January for you guys, it's about really stepping into your power, really trusting yourself, really trusting your truth. And by doing that, like you create like a masterpiece, like you create this self-awareness that is unmovable. And by doing that, it's like you're creating all these great things, like where before you may have been quite clouded mentally and stuff, it's now starting, like your mind is now starting to clear up. Like the more you step into your truth, the more clearer it gets. And the more clearer it gets, the more fruitful it is. And the more beneficial it is. So in the month of January, Libra, it's about really standing in your truth, really sitting in your power, allowing life to, you know, life will happen regardless of what you're going to do. So instead of like fighting against it, go with it. If you're going through an up, go with the up. If you're going through a down, go through the down. It doesn't matter with the Wheel of Fortune. It doesn't matter which way this card is. It's still the same. So it's just about you. It's you. You stand in your power. And by you standing in your power, you will create like a lot of stability for yourself. And if it is a business that you own, then by standing more in your power and really knowing what it is that you want to do with your business, you're going to create like a lot of steady income. Your finances are going to stable out. You're going to be very content with where you are and how things are going. But I think the main message for January, Libra, that chose number 1, is to just really stand in your power. Really trust yourself, trust your truth, and know that no matter what you do, whether it's an up or a down, anything that happens, like, you're ready for it. It doesn't matter at this point what the Wheel of Fortune is bringing towards you. What is more important is that you stay in your power regardless of what's coming towards you. And by standing in your power, you're going to create this kind of this stability that you haven't felt for a very long time. Whether that's, again, work-wise. I feel like it's more, it could be work, right? But I feel like this is more about you as a person. I feel like no matter where you are on the scale of the Wheel of Fortune, I think if you take your power back, stand in your power and stand in your truth, you will be more grounded. You will be more in your energy. Like, you will feel a lot more stable. So January, stay in your power, speak your truth, communicate your truth. Regardless of what's coming towards you, stay in your truth. Cards number 1, let me know if that resonated with you in the comment section below. Let's see what's happening for cards number 2. So I've got an itch. Let's see what's happening for cards number 2. Cards number 2, I feel like there's so much that you want to do. Like, you want the world, right? You want the world. You can have the world. You have all the tools here to have the world. You have all of that already. You have the night. You have the night. You have the right people around you. But I feel like you, Libra, that chose cards number 2, all of this is like possible. The world, you can have the world if you really want it. But I'm drawn to this guy here, and I feel like you're suppressing a lot. I feel like the fact that you're drinking this and you haven't put the cup down yet it's almost like, you know, they say, and I don't want this to trigger anybody, or maybe, you know, the trigger is good, I don't know. I'm just saying that it feels like the fact that he's drinking constantly and he hasn't put the cup down, it's almost like he's stopping himself from being able to speak or being able to express himself. And that would go hand in hand with the fact that his trousers, they're like a really pale blue. And if you're working with the chakras, a pale blue talks about the fact that you're not really, like, your throat chakra, when it's in alignment, is a really vibrant blue. There's a certain tone to it. And the tone of these guys' trousers is like a pale blue. So that would tell me that you're not walking in your truth. You're not speaking your truth. You're not, the way that you feel, you're not telling people how you feel. You're not telling people how you feel. You're too busy distracting yourself by drinking. You're too busy trying to, like, swallow these emotions down. But if you keep doing that, you're going to get nowhere fast. And sorry, that was my table. It's like there's a lot of, I feel it in my chest. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that you haven't gotten off your chest. And I think that the moment that you step into your truth and you put that cup down and you stop trying to suppress what it is that you're feeling, you're going to be able to, like, if you're worried about hurting people's feelings, you're not going to hurt anyone's feelings. by standing in your truth, you're not going to hurt anybody's feelings. So if this is representing like your community and your friends and your family, you standing in your truth is not going to hurt anybody. If anything, it's going to be a cause for celebration, because people are like, oh, okay, that's how you feel. Okay, so we'll work on it. And they're working on it. They're making their own wine. So it's like, you know, if you're not communicating very well, but the moment that you do decide to communicate how you feel with people, they're like, okay, cool, let's work with that then. What can we make from what's going on right now? And if you do that, you're going to create the world. You have all the tools. I already said that in the beginning. You already have all the tools. This is the issue. The fact that you're not communicating, you're not speaking how you feel, you're suppressing how you feel. And if you look at this card again, these people, they don't mind. They don't mind that you feel that way. They're not going to judge you. If anything, they're just going to be like, well, how can we work with that then? How can we create the world with what we've got? How can we fine tune how you feel, and how can we work with what we've got? That's what it feels like. How can we work with what we've got? You know, you're over here suppressing your emotions, but what you don't understand is when you express those emotions, you're setting yourself free. You're allowing the world to happen. The more you don't talk about how you feel, the more the world is like out of reach. So I think in the month of January, Libra, for the cards number 2, it's about speaking how you feel. And I'm going to say that this is going to unlock you, because as I was saying that, my throat, I don't know if you heard it, my throat tensed up. So I know that the moment that you speak how you feel and you express how you feel, it's going to open up so many fucking doors for you guys. You don't have to worry about how people are going to take it. Your people, they're not going to mind. They're going to actually help you. They're going to say, well, what can we do with this then? How can we use this? How can we use this to get to the world? So I think for the month of June, really focus on how it is that you feel and how you can communicate that. You don't have to come from, you know, an aggressive place or anything like that. We give the emotion the meaning. Anger doesn't mean that you have to lash out. Anger means that you can use that emotion positively by using that to fuel like your passion, your reason, like to put behind getting what it is that you want. You don't have to use anger in a negative way. You can use it in a very positive way if you want to. That's your choice. So the moment that you get that cup out of your mouth and you start speaking about how you feel, is the moment that things are going to start shifting for you. And they're going to shift quite fast. Sorry, Libra, the doorbell went, so I had to go and get that. But back to what I was saying, the moment that you do start expressing how you feel authentically and you start speaking your truth, it is going to be the moment that the doors start opening up. I feel like you're worried about how other people are going to take you. That shouldn't be your issue. Your issue should be, how the fuck am I not going to, like I have to. If I want to be true to me, I have to say what I have to say. I have to feel what I have to feel, and I have to express how I feel. That should be your concern. It shouldn't be what other people are going to think, or can you achieve this, or blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is, as soon as you say what you've got to say and how you feel, your people that you're so worried about, they're going to be right there helping you. So I don't think it's a matter of like the people around you and how they're going to take you. I think they're going to take you just fine. I think the way that you're feeling about how you're feeling is an I statement. It's about you and how you feel. But the moment that you express that and how you feel, it's the moment that everything's going to open up for you and you're going to be able to move forward, and you are going to be able to achieve the world. You already have everything to make the world happen. It's just about unlocking your blockage, and your blockage just happens to be talking about how you feel. So January feels like it's a month for you to really talk about how you feel. Be authentic to yourself. Be authentic to yourself. Be true with yourself. Like, be real with yourself. Start talking about how you feel. What's that saying? Those who mind won't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Something like that. I think that's how it goes. But January, Libra, cards number 2. It's all about speaking your truth. It's all about speaking how you feel. And you make the choice on how you express that. You don't have to use negative emotions in a negative way. You can use anger or sadness and use that as fuel to get you to where you want to be. So cards number 2, let me know. See, I'm still doing it, Libra. You've got me all tongue-tied. Cards number 2, if that resonated with you, let me know in the comment section below. Let's see what's happening for cards number 3. Cards number 3. It feels like cards number 3 that you're really worried about your relationship. Like, this is your relationship here. This is meant to be the 10 of Cups. This is meant to be happiness. This is meant to be, you know, the happily ever after. But there's trouble in paradise because it's pissing down with rain and it seems like there's a storm coming. And that's freaking you out because you're worried about, well, what if we don't withstand the storm? What if this is the end? Well, I don't think it's the end. For some of you it might be. Maybe this is the final straw. Maybe like you're tired of this energy. So for some of you, maybe you are just like, do you know what, it's not worth it, I can't be bothered. But I feel like for most of you, you're worried about your relationship. I feel like your relationships, and I don't just mean like your partner, I'm talking about all relationships. I feel like you're worried that those relationships, because they all seem to be going through a rocky patch. I feel like you're really stressed out about that. And what you need to understand about relationships is there's always going to be ups and downs. When you're going through a down, it just means that you're going through growth. So this is a growth period for you guys. Like for your relationships, it's all about growth. So where you're stressed and you're worried about like, oh, well, where's this going to leave us? You should be more worried about like these guys here, you know, they're looking for shelter. They're looking for a way to get out of the storm. They're not separating. They're still together. They're still happy with each other. It's just that there's just some shit that's going down at the moment. So I wouldn't worry about so much, oh, like the relationships and are they going to end and stuff. It's more about that's you. That's what you're worried about. Everybody else in the relationship, they're worried about coming out of the storm. They're worried about like coming out from the rain. I don't see that there's going to be, I mean, just in general, I don't see like there's going to be any breakups, or I don't see that there's going to be any unhappiness. The only unhappiness that's here is the unhappiness that you're creating in yourself because you're so worried about what's happening in your relationships. But what's happening in your relationships is growth. We all have to go through growing pains. We all have to go through growing periods. This is just growth. If you make it through this storm, then you're just going to get even closer with your people. It's just going to bring you closer. That's nothing to worry about. And if you are this worried, it kind of has to make you ask yourself, do you trust your people? Do you trust yourself? Is that the issue? Because your people are good. They're like, let's go for shelter. I'm ready to make it through this. Like rain or shine, we've got this. I'm ready to make it through. And you're over here like, well, I don't really know. It's like making me not sleep at night because all my relationships seem to be falling apart. They're not falling apart. They're not. Everybody else in your relationships, they're working together as a team. Like, this is us. Like, we're going here together. There's no separation here. Not that I can see. The only problem is you here in the way that you're thinking. I think with the Ace of Swords here, I think what this Ace of Swords is telling us is that you need to pull yourself out of this energy. Literally pull it out, you know, like you rip off a band-aid. Pull yourself out of that energy because this is you. This is your energy. Your relationships are good. They're just growing. If you can get through this with your people, then you can get through anything. It's one of those situations. Pull yourself out of this mental mentality of like stress and anxiety. There's nothing to be stressed about. There's nothing to be stressed about when it comes to your relationships. And if this is you, then you need to start asking yourself questions. Do you trust yourself? Do you trust your partners and your friends and family? Are your relationships hurting you more than they should be? You need to start asking yourself questions, because from what I can see, there's nothing here but the way that you're thinking. This is all thought process. This isn't even an emotion. This is emotion. This is people fighting for what they love. You're over here fighting your head. Like, don't it hurt? Ain't you tired? It's like I would be. If my relationships were just going through a growth spurt and my head is telling me that we're going to break up or it's all turning to shit and blood, I'm going to be fucking drained because I'm not sleeping. I've like immobilized myself. Like I can't move anymore because I've created this fucking prison for myself. Mentally, because I'm so worried about my relationships, when really what I should do is take my ass out of this energy and focus on my relationships and really focus on where we're going. Because you're still going. There's no end. There's no separation. They're still all together. So Libra, in the month of January, cards number 3. The Ace of Swords is telling you to bring yourself, take yourself out of this energy. This is not serving your relationships. This isn't even serving you. You have, I mean, you can feel this if that's what you really want to do, but it's not going to serve you no purpose. Your relationships are absolutely fine. They're ready to go on to bigger and better. They're ready to fight. They're ready to continue going forward. So this is all you. Take yourself out of this energy. It's hard, trust me, I know. I suffer with anxiety, so I know all about this kind of energy. But there is a time where you have to rip that band-aid off, and you have to reel yourself in and be like, is this actually happening? No. And in this reading, no, it's not actually happening. Because what's actually happening is the opposite of what it is you're worried about. It's the opposite. So the truth is, this isn't the truth. This is the truth. The 10 of Cups. Rain or shine, these people are going to be with you. So in the month of January, please find a way to take yourself out of this energy and focus on your truth, the actual truth, which is the 10 of Cups. And just know that all relationships, they have ups and downs. Your people ain't going nowhere. They're not. Cards number 3. Let me know if that resonated with you guys at all in the comment section below. And I'll catch you in my next video. Bye.